Hello and welcome to another interesting Snowflake topic, which is Snowflake conversion functions. If you have already worked on relational databases like PostgreSQL or MySQL, etc., then you might be familiar with the most of the conversion functions here. Let's see how these functions work in Snowflake. This is a part 4 video of Snowflake function series. If you haven't watched my previous videos, then I request you to please watch it once, as I have covered many interesting Snowflake tutorials. For more latest videos and updates, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel or my website www.cloudblogspot.com. For more information, please refer the video description section below. Alright, let's get started. Conversion functions. It includes text, character, binary data types of functions, which is to convert into character or to convert into varchar or in binary. There is also special type of function which is error handling function. It is same as try catch. So if our conversion is fail while doing the two binary, then it will return null instead of it throwing the error. So we'll look at it in more detail during the demo. Next, we have numeric data types for converting into double, decimal, number, and numeric, and it also supports the try catch mechanism. Next, Boolean data types, date and time data types, and then we have semi structured data types, which include array, object, and variant type. There is also a special support to geospatial data types, and I'm going to cover it in separate video. So for now, let's look at the demo of conversion functions. Conversion functions. So let's test this first simple cast function. So in Snowflake, you can either use cast or you can use this double colon syntax to convert one data type to another data type value. So let's test this first select query. As we can see, this 22 has converted to integer and this 2 is converted to integer value. Now, if I, let's say, change this 22 to hello, and if I run this again, we can see our query has failed and it has written hello is not recognized because we cannot convert this string into integer. This is not valid integer string value for this int conversion. So if we try this try underscore cast function and try to convert this hello as int, we can see our query has successful and it has written null values. So if there is any use case where we don't want to fail our query, but we just want to replace the error messages with nulls, null, then we can use this try underscore syntax with our conversion functions. So let's look at the next function, which is to underscore char. So here we can, this function is very useful to convert it into a formatted string. So let's say if we run this first query, I can see this to char has converted into, I have added dollar sign initially, and then we have two precisions dot, after dot we have two precisions, and also to varchar, it is again also printing the same result. Next, if we pass sysdate to our to varchar, so this sysdate will convert into this given date format. So let's say if I just change this to slash and if I run it, I can see I can convert that date format as well. Here with this third select query, I can see it has successfully printed. So I just switch like month at the first and then date and then year. So I can convert by using this to underscore varchar. I can actually format our string or any decimal value, these kind of things. So next we have, let's say, to underscore binary function. So this to underscore binary will it actually converts input value to binary. So this is input value, and the supported binary types are like hex, base 64 or UTF-8. So if I, let's say, convert, if I pass this hello as an argument to hex encode, this will convert this hello into hex format, and this is a hex value of, this is a binary value and it's in hex. Next, i- this function will, if I run this next function, we can see first it has converted this hello into hex. Then what we did here, we again decoded that hex value into our actual string. So to do that, first I have passed that hex value. Then by using to underscore varchar function, I mentioned like this is a hex value, and by using hex underscore decode underscore string function, we have just converted that hex value back to our original string. So if you need more information about SQL formats model, so this comes under the SQL formats model, and you can go through this official document for that. Next, we have numeric data types. So in numeric data types, we have two underscore decimal, two underscore number, two underscore numeric. So here this is a precision. So 9 comma 7. So this is a syntax for that. First, we pass the argument like column value we are passing, then format, like in which format we need our digits, and then this is a precision and scale, like after dot how many numbers we need. And if I test this select query, we can see it has converted into decimal, number and numeric. The output looks the same, and I think the working is also same for these three functions. So next we have boolean data type. So if we test this first select query, I can see like hello, here hello is not recognized. That means it's actually not a boolean value. It requires either 1 or 0 or null. So if I pass 1 and if I run this, I can see it has returned, for 1 it has returned true, and for null it will just return null. And if I, let's say, try with that try underscore to underscore boolean function, I should get null for this hello, and for this 0 false, and for this 1 true, and for this null it will return null. So if I run this query, I can see for hello it has returned null, and then 0 false, 1 true, and null null. Next is date and time data types. So here first is to underscore date and date, both are same. So if we run this query, it will actually convert this date. So whatever date we have given as an argument, we need to mention in what format we are passing that date, and then it will convert the date into this given format like YYY, MM and date. Next, to underscore date also supports, we can like epoch conversion. So this is a epoch date Unix timestamp, and if we run this, it will convert that epoch into this YYYMMDD format. Next, we also can get the date out of this complete timestamp. So we just have to pass that timestamp as an argument to this to underscore date function. Next, we have similarly we have to underscore time to get the time. If you want to change the clock, like here it's a 24-hour clock, and if I run this query, this will print in this 24. If I, let's say, it might throw an error if I change it to 12. Yeah, it will throw an error, but if I, let's say, convert it to 10, and it should return me the correct correct time. So I'll just keep it as it is 24. Then we have time to actually convert this it into time type. time data type. Then this we can also pass this epoch Unix timestamp, where it will get only time from that epoch. So here it is getting the time, and if here it was the date we got, and here it's a time. So next we can also pass this complete timestamp to get the date out of it. Next we have some other functions like to underscore timestamp underscore LTZ, which is for local time zone. Then to underscore timestamp underscore NTZ for no time zone. And then we have to underscore timestamp underscore TZ with time zone. So this will return the timestamp with the time zone. And it also supports this try underscore to underscore timestamp underscore LTZ, NTZ, and TZ format or data type. So let's test this function first. Let's test this LTZ. So this will return the time in local time zone. So if I want to alter the session for my time zone value, then I can simply use this statement. So it's a alter session set time zone, and then we need to pass our time zone. So first let I'm setting it to America, New York time zone. So I just set it. Now next, if I run this select query, so for this select query I am passing this timestamp, and then it should not return any time zone. Then I can also pass the variant data type, or let's say JSON type, to this timestamp. And next we can also pass this epoch value, where we can get it in int first, and then we can convert that to timestamp underscore LTZ. So if I run this select query, I can see for this NTZ, it will not print the time zone because it's a no time zone. Then for this second parse underscore JSON, we can see it has successfully printed the time zone. It's a minus 0400, and local time zone, as we have set it to America, New York. So this is the time zone for that particular region. If I change the time zone, let's say Asia, Kolkata, and if I again run this query, I can see it has successfully changed that time zone value. Next, we also have some semi-structured data type conversion functions. So here, first is to underscore array. So if we need to convert any value to array, let's say, then we can use this to underscore array and pass that value. If we need to pass multiple values or generate list of values in that array, then we can use this array underscore construct function, and inside this we can pass these different values inside this, and we can construct the array. So if I run the select query, I can see it has successfully printed the list, and it's a hello undefined for null. Then we have world 29 11.23. We also have to underscore object and to underscore variant. Over here we can see we can actually store this JSON string inside this two data type conversion functions. Next, there is a special support to geospatial data types, and this actually supports some geometric object format, which are like WKT, WKB for binary, EWKT, EWKB, and GeoJSON. So I'm going to cover this in next upcoming video. For now, if you need more information about functions conversion or converger functions in Snowflake, then you can go through this Snowflake documentation.